Welcome back to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and we are checking out the Kurosaki Megumi hammered R-2 Gyuto 240mm knife. The box says Megumi on it, and I've also in the past had a 240 Megumi or hammered VG10, so I guess they kept the Megumi name for the hammered style. The core steel on this is R2 powdered metallurgy full stainless steel at a heat treat rating of 62 plus, 62 maybe 63. The construction is 3 layers, and on either side of that harder core steel you've got a soft stainless steel cladding, so it's a fully stainless knife. You've got a really pretty hammered finish to it and some nice chiseled kanji. I'm going to have a little trouble with the lighting here because this is a fairly polished finish on it, so it's pretty striking actually. These are really pretty blades. So we'll get a look at some of the details in a second here. Here are the dimensions of weight, which will vary a little bit from knife to knife. This one is 174 grams and 6.1 ounces. Edge length about 244 or 9.6 inches on the actual edge from the tip all the way back of the chin, or the back of the heel known as the chin right there in that back point. The overall length about 408 millimeters or right on 16 inches with this handle. And the spine thickness, these are fairly thin, really high performance blades. They're light, nimble, and boy do they perform. So we're talking about 2.75 millimeters on this one above the chin, and then I measure about halfway down, and we go down to 1.75, and if you kind of look, it's just keeping that all the way down until you hit the grind, and the tip gets pretty doggone thin. So this is not a monster heavy blade. It's not a super thick, stiff blade. So you're going to trade off a little bit of stiffness and, super confident board feel for nimble and high performance feel. So I'm not going to say it's delicate, but it'll probably take a little more paying attention to your technique than something that's got a little more meat behind the edge, because this is very thin at the edge and a pretty thin overall blade, especially for a hammered blade. Blade height is quite generous at 51.6 millimeters, and you might see different handles on these over time, but Mark on this batch decided to get them, I think, without handles and put their own kind of in-house handles on them. So this is a octagonal walnut handle with a maple ferrule. Pretty nice fit and finish on this. It's not super smooth, but it's sealed, and it's got very smooth, no gap or jumps here between the ferrule, the maple and the walnut, and nice handle install, very tightly sealed up handle install. You might possibly see in the future these come with more traditional rosewood with black packerwood. I don't know, it depends on what Mark's going to do, but some of the other Kurosaki knives have that type of handle on them, so that could change, of course, the balance point and the weight just a little bit. Handle circumference on this one's about 76, 77 millimeters, so a little over 3 inches at the ferrule main handle junction, pretty standard size. And you've got a fairly generous neck here that's not real wide, and you got a nice gentle curve into the choil, so you got loads and loads of space here for a pinch grip. And balance point is, which I forgot to do on the 210, but it's pretty similar on the 210. There's your balance point. So it's just about on my pinch grip, maybe a touch behind it, but pretty close. It's hard to describe how nimble this blade is. It's for the size, it's very, very nimble. It's a really high-performing knife. Fit and finish is excellent. Let's see if we can get a good beauty shot here. So you've got the cladding line flowing into the core steel. It's hard to show in the video because they've got a fairly shiny finish on this. You got hammering, great hand-chiseled kanji with a lot of texture to it. Nice finish on the spine, nice finish on the choil. Really comfortable. I'd say the out-of-the-box edge on this was a good 6 or 7 out of 10. Very nice performing knife. This is just nipping on the heels of the 210 model for performance, which means it's a really good performing knife. So really low wedging through stuff. If I was going to process a case of cabbage, this would be a knife I would put really high on my list, because it just goes through those half and quarter cuts, just boom. No wedging, no getting stuck, just boom through there and you're done. Big onions right through there, sweet potatoes, boom, you're done. So it just, very little wedging, big carrots. So trade-off is you don't get that kind of powerhouse feel or workhorse feel, but you do get a lot of performance. So I've got the, what they call Shizuku, the Kurosaki Shizuku R2, which is an excellent performing knife. And this is a little thinner than that, and this actually performs a little better than that. And that is no slouch. So this is thin and light and nimble and really good performing knife. Let's look at it on the cutting board. So I did get a chance to use my Shizuku R-2 side by side with this, and this is an impressive knife. So they're sharp and thin, and this is trying to dig into my cutting board just like the 210 did. But so here's the profile. You've got a little bit of a stop at the heel and a fairly gentle belly with not a lot of, you can see the tip's fairly low, so I'm not going to get a ton of rocking room here. So the 210 and 240 have been similar, so I think that's just his style to bring that tip kind of low in relation to the line of the blade and kind of come down towards the edge. But so not a huge rocker, but it will work really good for some basic chopping, push-pull cuts, guillotine and glide, that kind of stuff. But just, again, you can tell I'm excited about this, but these are just excellent performing knives. If you're looking for a big old honking stiff workhorse, this is not what you're looking for. But if you want a lot of performance and edge retention, cool knife. So there you have the Kurosaki Megumi R-2 Gyuto 240 millimeter knife.